Mindspark data shows that a lot of students have a misconception that when a shape is turned, the measure of its angles changes. Let's take a look at a few Mindspark questions capturing this misconception.
A square is turned as shown. Naveen says the length of the sides of the square changes when it is turned. Praveen says the measure of the angles of the square changes when it is turned. Who is correct? Option A, only Naveen is correct. Option B, only Praveen is correct. And option C, neither of them is correct. What do you think is the correct answer to this question? The correct answer to this question is option C, neither of them is correct. Because when a shape is turned, neither its angles nor its sides change. What do you think would be the percentage of students who answered the question correctly? Let's take a look at the performance data for this question. 1,321 students attempted this question, out of which only 62% students were able to answer the question correctly. An alarming 27% students chose option B as their answer, which means they think that the measure of the angles of the square changed after it is turned. Also, 11% of the students think that when a square is turned, the length of its sides also changes. Let's take a look at another Mindspark question based on the same concept. A rectangle is turned as shown below. What happens to the rectangle? Option A, the measure of its angles change. Option B, the number of its corners still remain 4. And option C, the length of its sides changes. What do you think is the correct answer to this question? Clearly, the correct answer to this question is option B, the number of its corners still remain 4. What do you think would be the percentage of students who answered the question correctly? Let's take a look at the performance data for this question. Out of the 2,187 students who attempted the question, 81% students were able to answer the question correctly. 12% students chose option A as their answer, which means that they think when a rectangle is turned, the measure of its angles changes.
Teachers are advised to use props and teaching aids in the classroom to teach geometry effectively. A protractor, set square, or even an L-shaped tool with a square corner can be used to check and measure for angles in shapes. These tools can be used to demonstrate that when a shape is turned, the measure of its angles does not change. Let us see an example. ABCD is the shape. Now let's check the angles of the shape. Angle A is the right angle because it forms a square corner. Angle B is the right angle because it forms a square corner. Angle C is also a right angle as it forms a square corner. And similarly, angle D is the right angle because it forms a square corner. So you see that in this shape, all the 4 angles are right angles. Now let us turn this shape. Now let's check for the angles in this new position. Angle A is the square corner and therefore it forms a right angle. Angle B is a right angle as well because it forms a square corner. Angle C also forms a square corner and therefore is the right angle. And similarly, angle D forms a right angle as well as a square corner is formed. So you see that in the new position also, all the four angles of the shape are right angles. Therefore, we can say that when the shape was turned, the measure of its angles did not change. Teachers can use this cognitive conflict technique in their classrooms to clear any misconceptions the student might have.